Yo, happy Thursday, November 9th, 2023, and welcome to a brand new edition of what we call the Clash of Champions. I am your host, the vegan you believe in, Kurt Cadet, aka Conscious Kurt, in the flesh as always, and this man needs no introduction.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is tag team partner Jonathan Randall at your guys' service, the adventurer himself, live in living color. And ladies and gentlemen, you could follow us, our two social media platforms on Instagram, champs.clash, and on Twitter, the Champs Clash. Oh my goodness, Kurt, how's your week?
How's my week? My week has been pretty good. I've been staying really busy with doing this podcast, also doing my other podcast for the birds, and also shifting the culture, which I dropped episodes for earlier this week. You could find episodes of either one of those podcasts on Spotify as well as Spreaker and YouTube. Look them up. So yes, I've been staying busy with those. Also busy watching a little wrestling, catching up on some old school Survivor Series. I'm up to 1989 right now. And yeah, I'm just ready to break it off with this wrestling talk, this wrestling gossip, wrestling debates, and everything wrestling today, my dude. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. And that's right, ladies and gentlemen. This past Saturday, we had a Crown Jewel event in Saudi Arabia. And, lately the events have been up to par. And this one was really up to par.
I'll say this much about the event. It was good, but I wouldn't call it great. Catch my drift?
Yeah, it was decent. There were one surprise where I did not expect. I was impressed by the main event, which we'll get into later. But there was one shocking surprise from that night.
Yes, there was a big shocking surprise. Actually, there was more than one shocking surprise now that I think about it. But we'll break down all of those for you throughout our recap of Crown Jewel. And let's start it off by talking about the pre-show match as Sami Zayn defeated JD McDonough with a haluva kick, but followed by the haluva kick, he hit him with the Blue Thunder Bomb to get the pin, which was a nice little switch up. He doesn't really usually win with the Blue Thunder Bomb, but I fucks with the switch up he did in this match. That's what's up.
Okay, yeah. I see that's what's up. I already knew that Sami Zayn was going to win, and we picked him to win. So
Yeah, so that was that. So we get into the main show. And to open the main show, and to open up the main show, we had the World Heavyweight Championship match featuring Seth Rollins defending his title in some bubblegum ass outfit or whatever the fuck it was against Drew McIntyre.
decent match, good match to start off the night. Seth Rollins debuted a new in ring move where he did kind of like a over the top rope swanton and then finishing it off with a modified moonsault or a lion salt, as as some wrestling fans call it, from Chris Jericho. But yeah, he did that move in the middle of the match. I thought that was dope. That was a new in ring move to do. But overall, I liked the match. It was a decent match. It looked like very close falls for Drew McIntyre. It looked like he almost had it. But Seth Rollins retains the title as we picked. But what happened after the match? So as Seth Rollins is still in the ring, Damian Priest comes out wanting to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase. And as soon as he's about to do that, he gets attacked from a guy in the hood. And that person in the hood turns out to be Sami Zayn. And he takes the Money in the Bank briefcase with him.
Damn, son. Cock blocked by Sami Zayn.
Didn't see that coming, man. I wasn't expecting Damian Warner to come out there in the beginning, though. But crazy sequence. And then right after that sequence, we could see Drew McIntyre backstage, pretty much just licking his wounds from defeat. And then Rhea Ripley, comes by him and just gives him that look. And you just,
Yeah, it was a great match. Honestly, probably the best match of the whole show. And yeah, there was like one point where Drew hit the Claymore kick where I really thought he had it, but it was not to be. And then Rollins eventually made a comeback, hit him with the curb stomp, retained. And yeah, Drew McIntyre walked out of the ring after the match was over, very upset, obviously pissed off. And I thought he was actually going to make the turn here, but it did not happen. It looks like they're stretching it out for a little longer. So we'll see when it does happen for sure. But definitely after this loss, it is inevitable.
Yeah, what do you think of I don't know, that Rhea Ripley and Drew McIntyre, little, I want to say a confrontation, but that little meetup that they had. I mean, what do you think about that?
I guess we'll have to wait and see. It could mean anything, but I think we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah.
Like the killer and Scream.
Oh my god. So speaking of Rhea Ripley, she was on the way to her match, and in her match, she had a fatal 5-way match for the Women's World Championship, which was between her, Nia Jax, Raquel Rodriguez, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark.
Yeah, this match was cool. It was fine for what it was, but ultimately, to no surprise, Rhea Ripley did retain the title. And the way she retained was by hitting Zoe Stark with a riptide from the top rope onto Raquel, who was attempting to pin Shayna Baszler, and then Rhea pinned Baszler to get the win.
Crazy. That was a crazy ending though, but a good ending to that match. So a reptile from the top rope onto your other opponents. Sheesh.
Yeah, that was ugly. I mean, it was a good finish, but yeah, no surprise when it came to the outcome. So was what it was.
Yeah. And then on to our next match now. This was the shocker to me right here. So Solo Sokoa facing against John Cena. Now, going into this match, we've been hearing about how John Cena hasn't, won a singles match in over, 2,000 plus days. And you're really thinking that, okay, John Cena's going to, he's going to kind of like, have that final ride off into the sunset maybe and, get the job done. But it really didn't turn out to be that way.
It did not turn out to be that way, to my surprise, especially as Solo
Yeah.
Sokoa hit Cena with multiple Samoan spikes. And that last Samoan spike he hit him with ended up being more than enough to finish the job, as Solo Sokoa defeated John Cena convincingly, decidingly, and fair and square.
Yeah, man. Did not see that coming.
Fuck, man.
Like,
This.
yeah, that's kind of sad though. And you're just like, I mean, I don't know what will be like the big payoff. I don't know because we just now found it out yesterday, just yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, that the CAGA Writers Guild strike is officially over in Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. It is over. So yeah, all the writers are going back to work now. So that
And the
means any
actors.
yeah, that too though. But it was mainly from the writers though. That was mainly on the strike as well.
But the writers thing was squashed like a few weeks ago, but this one was for the actors to be squashed.
I didn't know that. I did not know though. But
Yeah, the writers one was
look,
squashed a few weeks ago, but yeah, this is the one for the actors. So now, like, it's all
uh,
back to work.
okay, right. I see what you mean. But yeah, everybody's going back to work now. So all your your favorite TV shows or movies that were pretty much like postponed or whatever, or still in production, is going back into production. So that means that yeah, John Cena, dude, he's gonna go back to whatever he's gonna be doing for Hollywood. So I mean, I don't know what will be the payoff. Will it be the payoff be at what at WrestleMania? But I don't know. Just how they did this was just a shocker to me. Having them lose.
And having him lose the way they had him lose, too, because for one, he hadn't won a singles match in however many years. And you figured, like, him beating Solo's not going to really hurt. Solo's not really going to be hurt by it, so it's not that big a deal. But they actually had Solo beat him.
Yeah.
And look, I don't know what the payoff is going to be for this. I don't know where Solo goes from here or how big of a push he gets from here. But so far, from the way it looks now, from how it went down, I think this is going to benefit Solo a lot more than Austin Theory benefited from beating Cena at WrestleMania.
I absolutely agree. And there's a couple of reasons behind that. So we're gonna get off the negative side about this. We're gonna look out on the positive side for Solo Sikoa. This is good on his resume that you beat, John Cena. But then everybody's saying, "Oh, well, Austin Theory beat." Well, okay. Here's the thing: Solo Sikoa has that more advantage than Austin Theory because here's why. Solo Sikoa has been rising up the ranks. He is with the bloodline, with Roman Reigns, with Paul Heyman, with the Usos early on primarily though, but still he has that backup. He's more serious, where you could like take this guy more seriously. That's why this means more to him than Austin Theory. And I think that Solo Sikoa is going to have a more brighter future than Austin Theory.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. And also, Cena was only back for this run temporarily. We knew for a fact that he wasn't going to win the title or be around long term. You just knew that he was going to be around for this amount of time and to just enjoy for however long it lasts. And even before this whole news of the strike being over came out, it was reported that this is going to be like his last show for this stint. So I wasn't surprised, and especially considering the fact that, the crowd gave him a standing ovation afterwards, and like the way he left and walked out afterwards, it was clear that this is the end of this most recent run. And I mean, if it's the end of his run in that regard and he barely wrestles anymore, why not lose to the next dude and make the next dude look good? So it makes sense.
Yeah, when you kind of look back at it, I mean, yeah, I mean, but at the same time, it was still shocking. But like I said in our last episode, that run that he had, enjoy that, dude. Like, I just don't take that for granted, because I'm not gonna go along again, but he's kind of like LeBron James, where like, man, we kind of took his run, his whole career run, a little bit for granted, a little bit. And then now that he's gone, we're kind of like, well, damn, I kind of miss, I miss him now. You know what I mean? So that whole little short run that he had, I enjoyed it. Did not take it for granted.
Yeah, neither did I. It was fun. It's great to see John Cena on WWE TV whenever he does come back. But it's clear that Hollywood and movies are his main priority right now. And for the work he's been doing these last few years, I can see why. And I hope he continues to do even more good work that we can enjoy.
Mm.
Shout out to John Cena.
Same, man. Thank you for everything, man, and thank you, especially what you've been doing over the past. How long? You was like 2 months, a month and a
2
half,
months, yeah, 2 months.
2 months. Yeah, just thank you for that, man. It was just very grateful and appreciated. So thank you. So on to our next match. We had Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship. Decent match. It was a good match. Logan Paul. There was a little botch. There was a little botch move in that match that I noticed, because Rey Mysterio was going for the 619, and it looked like Rey Mysterio was about to do a moonsault onto Logan Paul, but it looked like Rey was about to like miss him by an inch, but Logan Paul caught him. Like, he kind of like saved the moment. So that was good on Logan Paul's part. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I saw it. I didn't realize it really much at the time when it happened, but then when everybody was talking about it the next day and I saw the footage of it again,
Yeah.
it hit me and I'm like, yeah, fuck, he really did save him. Yeah, Logan Paul got a lot
Yeah.
of Logan Paul got a lot of praise for that spot, because yeah, it could have been really bad for Ray
Oh
if
yeah.
it went differently.
Very good. Very good. So the match, how the match ended was just a little bit kind of crazy. Santos Escobar comes in, gotta look like he was wanting to help Ray, but it backfired. Really backfired on him, to the point where Logan Paul had the brass knucks, and he ends up hitting Rey Mysterio to get the pinfall. And now he is our new United States champion.
Yes, the douchebag fuck Logan Paul with the help of his brass knucks that he got from his homeboy that Santos Escobar actually chased off, but as he was chasing him off, he accidentally left the brass knucks for Logan Paul to use, so he used them, no surprise, because he's a cheater, got the win, and now he's the U.S. champion, laying in bed with it with his girlfriend, if you've seen the most recent pictures online.
Yeah, I saw those photos. He's working out with doing cardio with the belt. He was in a shower with the belt. He was sleeping in the bed with his girlfriend with the belt. It was like Christmas for him. But there is one thing I want to add. So after the match, Logan Paul, Rey Mysterio was in the corner, And Logan Paul reaches out to him, told him, he's like, "Hey man, you're a legend. I still like respect you and all that stuff." And then Rey Mysterio was like, "You knew what you were doing," and blah blah blah. That was a weird conversation. I didn't know what to take of that.
Logan Paul was being sarcastic. He was trying to act like he was all innocent and act like, oh, Rey Mysterio, you're great. Thank you for the moment. But Rey Mysterio saw through his bullshit. Rey Mysterio's not stupid.
That was just weird to me, though.
He sees him for the douchebag fuck that all of us know him to be.
Right. But like you said last week, we both knew that was going to happen. That him winning the U.S. title is going to bring, that exposure of WWE onto the mainstream with him having that belt. So that in somewhat of a way is a positive because of who he is.
Yeah, it's cool. It's mainstream attention for the U.S. title. I'm sure he'll probably be on TV a lot
Well,
more.
not just the title too, though, but just for the business in general too, though.
Yeah, he'll be on TV more for the next few months until eventually he drops it. So yeah, I don't mind the move. It's definitely, going to put a lot more heat on him, which makes sense. So we'll see how the run goes in the next few months.
Yeah, who do you ever think that like a year ago, like man, like Logan Paul, we all thought that whole Logan Paul thing was just like a one hit wonder thing, a one ordeal thing. But then when he had the contract, and then I was like, oh, that's took me by surprise. But I never, said to myself, oh, he's gonna win like a singles title. That never came to my mind. Yet yes, I know that he was in a world championship match with Roman Reigns. I get that, but with this one, I didn't see this one coming though. I never had that thought in my mind.
Well, it happened, motherfucker. It happened.
I know it's just crazy how things happens, within like a year or 2 years. So
Yeah, bees like that. So yes, Logan Paul is your new United States champion, and I think he'll hold that belt till probably WrestleMania.
as you said last week. So on to our next match, we had another championship match. This time it was for the women's championship, and that was between Io Sky and Bianca Belair.
Yeah, and the match was solid. Admittedly, it wasn't as good as their match at Backlash, but it wasn't about the match itself. It was about the way the match ended.
Ooh, give us a rundown of that, Kurt.
All right, so as the match is going on, Bayley attempts to interfere, and Bianca tries to counter Bayley and do the KOD through the table like she did to her the night before on SmackDown. But as she's about to do this, Kairi Sane randomly shows up, and Bianca's all shocked and all surprised to see her. And then Kairi Sane takes advantage of this and hits her with her backhanded elbow. And that allows Io Sky to take advantage as Bianca eventually gets back into the ring, only for Io Sky to hit her with the moonsault, get the win, and retain the title. And now with the backup of Kairi Sane, it's looking like the two of them are forming their own little stable.
I really thought Bayley was going to cost her that match though, but yeah, no, but Io Sky was just getting help from both ends, but yeah, I knew Io Sky was going to win. And it will help her, for her resume as a champion. Was the match good? I mean, it was all right. Was it good compared to when I Backlash? No, but it is what it is. So yeah, Io Sky is still your champion.
And also after the match, Kairi and Io continued the attack, which included Kairi Sane hitting her top rope elbow onto Bianca. And I have to say, it's probably one of the best top rope elbows in wrestling, period, right now.
Right now.
Yeah, sorry, CM Punk. Her top rope elbow drop, Randy Savage would be proud.
Nice. That is good to hear.
Yeah, so it's looking like now Io Sky and Kairi Sane are going to have like a little stable, and supposedly they're having more people that they're going to be adding to it soon. And with the confused look on Bayley's face after the match, it's clear to see that, yeah, Damage Control's days are numbered.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it looks like Bayley's ass is going to get dumped.
Yeah, and then Bayley may go after the title now. Finally.
Yeah, maybe she will. That would be great to see. I wouldn't mind seeing a babyface Bayley turn if possible, but who knows?
Oh, it's been a long time. My God, what was the last time? My God.
It's been 4 years. Yeah, 4 years.
Ooh. Ooh. Wow. Yeah, I think it's time.
And now Io Sky by Moore is the champion. I feel like now she's gonna have the belt for a little longer. Is now, especially now with Kyrie Sanders are back up and supposedly more girls added to the group that are gonna be happening soon. So yeah, I see her holding the belt for a little longer.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, so on to our next match. We had Cody Rhodes, and yeah, making his return again for with Damian Priest. Oh my god, that's just shame. You're over here about to cash in your money in a bank briefcase that haven't getting interrupted by Sami Zayn. And it got worse for him too, though, because he ends up Cody Rhodes gets the win.
Yeah, Cody ended up getting the win with 3 Crossroads. The match was fine, but in all honesty, this is kind of like a match you would see on Raw.
Yeah, yeah,
It was fine. The crowd was happy to see Cody. It was cool and all, but yeah, it was like nothing really out of the ordinary.
right, right. Nothing like really to write about, but yeah, Cody Rhodes wins, and finally on to our main event, ladies and gentlemen. That was for the undisputed Universal Championship. That was between Roman Reigns and LA Knight. Look, I hate the how we could go on and on about this, which we have before. Like, sucks that Roman's not on TV and not defending the title, but we have to admit whenever he's in the ring and just it's more how he interacts with the crowd. We love that. You know what I mean? He loves that. He does very well in the ring, very well, and to the chagrin LA Knight really did well in this match. I personally like this match. LA Knight really stuck it out. He hung with Roman. I liked it. I liked the match. We knew that Roman Reigns was going to win, and he did due to the distraction of Jimmy Uso, who got involved at a couple of times. But yeah, I was surprised LA Knight kicked out of the spear the first time. Second time he did it.
Yeah, that was a nice touch. I was definitely kind of surprised by that. Even if I didn't think he was going to win, like that spot happening was definitely something that caught me off guard. But what did
Yeah,
not
yeah.
catch me off guard was the interference of Jimmy Uso and the bloodline shenanigans. And I'm not going to lie,
Mhm.
bro, this shit is getting annoying now.
I know. I know, man. It's just I, they need to they need to have like a stipulation at WrestleMania where the bloodline can't get involved.
Yeah, something because yeah, this is getting ridiculous.
I
this has
know.
been practically 3 years of this shit.
I know. I know. That's kind of like whenever Hogan in WCW had a title match, you know, NWO will get involved.
Yeah, but Hogan didn't keep the belt for 3 years straight. He
Yeah,
lost it
I
a few
know. I
times in
know.
between.
Yeah, I know. But it's just like every time NWO comes in. You know what I mean? But anyway, but yeah, I mean, overall, it was a good match. I enjoyed it. But man, I'm just giving the high praises to LA Knight because he really showed up and hung in there, hung with the best. That's like the positive that I'm looking at how the match went and also just how well LA Knight performed in that match.
Yeah, he did his thing and felt like he belonged in that spot.
Oh
I
yeah,
have no complaints about his performance, but ultimately Roman did retain after spearing LA Knight through the freaking guardrail. That spot's always crazy to watch, no matter how many times they do it. Yeah, that
yeah.
happened, and then he eventually got him back in the ring and hit him with the spear a second time, which LA Knight did not kick out of. So Roman retained, had the big ass fireworks display like we always see him get, and that was the end of Crown Jewel.
hmm And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally on the road to Survivor Series.
And this past Monday on Raw, during a brawl between the Judgment Day, Cody, Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn, Adam Pearce came out and made the announcement that both teams will be facing each other at Survivor Series in WarGames.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Team of Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn versus the Judgment Day. Woo!
I kind of had a feeling they were going to do this match the last few weeks. Although initially I thought it was going to be Kevin Owens on the team and not Seth Rollins. But now that, Owens is on
Yeah.
SmackDown, they're doing it this way, which I am down with. I like both teams. It would have been cool if they had maybe the bloodline involved in it. But if Roman's not going to be a part of it and not going to be at Survivor Series, then there's no point really.
Nope, he's not. It's a damn shame. So I wish they would have done that, but they just
Yeah, it would have made sense for Roman to be a part of WarGames because all those other guys that I mentioned have like an axe to grind with him, from Cody to
right,
Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Rollins.
right. Thank you. What do you So I think, what do you think about the poster?
Oh, I love it! I fucking love it.
Yeah,
This will be Cody's first WarGames match too.
right. Something his father was a part of.
The match that his father invented. Yeah,
Yep,
Dusty was the one
crazy.
who got the idea for the WarGames match from the movie Mad Max.
Oh, Beyond Thunderdome.
I believe so. Yeah, the one that came out in '85. So it would have been around that time frame.
Oh, I see. I see. Interesting.
We don't need another hero. We don't need to know the way home. That was a song from the movie, wasn't it? The Tina Turner
Yeah,
song?
it was. Yeah, because Tina Turner was in there.
Yeah, they should make that song the theme song to War Games this year.
Oh, stop. Yeah, that one, and they also added two more matches onto the card as well.
Yes, and after winning number one contenders battle royal, Zoe Stark will now be facing Rhea Ripley for the women's world title at Survivor Series. I
Yeah,
like this.
you do. I don't know. I kind of wish Nia Jax would be in there though, because after what happened, because you got to remember how the way she made her return. So I thought that I get it. I get the fatal 5-way thing at Crown Jewel. I get it though, but I'm going back to how Nia came back. You know what I mean? How she was taking out everybody. So I was kind of like just stick her in there. I would love to see Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jackson 1-on-1. I would have loved to see that, especially after what happened.
Yeah, but it is what it is. But I did like that segment between Nia Jax and Becky backstage, where Nia interrupted Becky's promo and she was like reminding her of that incident that happened where Nia broke her nose.
Oh,
And the anniversary of that is actually Sunday. 5 years.
oh wow, it's been that long.
5 fucking years. Holy shit. I'm still in college.
Crazy. Oh, right.
Yeah, and then Becky said, "Yeah, a lot has happened since then. I went on to main event WrestleMania, and then you went on to get fired."
Oh, oof.
Damn. I do feel bad for Nia Jax though. She said like, the people fucking with her online and like, bullying her online was like at an all-time high, like around the time she got released.
I know. I know she got a lot of crap for it though, but I mean, the situation. People just they don't act smart on social media, man. So
Dumb motherfuckers, you know who you are.
right, but that one, and then also we got an Intercontinental Championship match on the card. I'm excited for that, and that will be between Gunther and the Miz. This is really crazy how this whole scenario started, because Miz is a heel, and then I close my eyes and I blink, and then next open my eyes, and next thing you know, I see Miz is kind of like turning like babyface here. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? What did I miss? Over here feuding with Gunther for the. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, whoa, where did this come from? But yes, he's in a match for the Intercontinental Championship, a title that the Miz has won, which he did very well with that title, ladies and gentlemen. He did very well with that with a run he had with that Intercontinental Championship belt a few years ago. So he'll be trying to get it back against Gunther at Survivor Series, and I'm looking forward to that.
It should be interesting. It's definitely a different opponent for Gunther that I wouldn't have expected him to have. And
Me
Miz
either. I didn't expect that either.
and Miz being a good guy, I guess it works temporarily, but we
Hmm.
all know how this is going to end.
Of course. I know we all know that, but I'm hoping for the quality of the match and the good match it is. You got to remember, as much as the attention and the prestige of the Intercontinental Championship has been because of Gunther, right? You got to remember, Miz did a very good job with that belt when he was Intercontinental Champion about a few years ago.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, and I'm sure the match will be fine. I'm sure the match will still be good. It's Gunther, and then Miz can have good matches with the right person. So
Yes, Miz is underrated, very underrated. You put him in a ring with certain people, he's gonna do great. But like another thing, what makes him good is that his promos, dude, he does so well on the mic that just like, oh my god, like, and then the thing it hurts me though. I think I've said this like a long time ago. What I see from Miz, right, or especially what I saw from Miz, what was it, 2016, 2017? What I saw that version of Miz, I said to myself, "Oh my god, why wasn't he like that back in like 2011?" You know what I mean? I would have took him so much serious as world champion. You know what I mean?
yeah, I get it. I did like
I
that promo a few weeks ago on Raw when the Imperium dudes were like fucking with him and like basically telling him like, "Oh, you're just a
yeah.
sidekick to your wife on a reality show." And then Miz's response was, "Bro, you wish you had someone as hot as my wife yelling at you all the time."
That's how like kind of like the
I,
whole
but
thing started though, because they were on his show on Miz TV, and that's pretty much how like the whole thing started. That was just like a surprise to me. Like he's a heel for the longest time, and I close my eyes, I blink, and the next thing you know, is this dude's turning babyface. Like what's up with this? What happened?
would you
You
say, in
know?
a way, it's kind of a weird comparison? Would you say that the Miz is like the Soldier Boy of wrestling?
Has other people been saying it, or you just said that?
I just thought about that a second ago.
Of all people, why Soldier Boy?
You know, let me break it down for you. Let me break it down.
Why? Come on, of all these. Oh my lord!
I say it because
Oh,
of the sense the
oh,
Miz isn't the most talented wrestler per se, just like how Soldier Boy is not the most talented rapper. And they have like kind of like a corniness to them that like kind of turns people off and makes people maybe not take them seriously, but they know how to market themselves, they know how to play their part, and they know how to make people gravitate and respond to them, whether good or bad.
hmm.
That's what I mean by comparing him to Soldier Boy, and made a lot of
Okay,
noise too in the process. Regardless of whether you're a fan of either Soldier Boy or Miz, you have to give them both credit where it's due.
that is true because whenever they play "Crank That Soldier Boy," no matter where you go, people are gonna dance to it. It's been what 16 years since that song came out, and people still bump to it, dance to it whenever the DJ plays it.
Yeah, I'll never forget what Ice T said back then when that song came out. He said that Soldier Boy single handedly killed hip hop.
Oh,
Damn, that's a little too
yeah.
far. Look, I wasn't a fan of the song at the time. I'm still not really big on Soldier Boy, but whatever. I give him his credit, but yeah, it's maybe a bit of an exaggeration.
Look, I mean, could we say it was a little bit of the start of the slow decline to hip hop?
I will say that was a period where it was starting to evolve into something I didn't like. Yeah, like because music will always change, music will always evolve. That's how it keeps going. But I will say during that period, yeah, it did start to evolve into something I didn't like.
Man, yeah.
Because I try to be more open minded to music, and like even if I don't like something, I try not to to go as far as to say that it sucks, it's terrible, it's garbage. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff like bad stuff during that time that stood out. That yeah, I just could not get into for the life of me.
Yeah. Know what you mean.
I'm getting money like nee, 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 nee.
uh,
I'm jumping out the window with this one, jumping out the window. I'm like, what the fuck? Jumping out the window, bro? You're not gonna wear a fucking parachute?
right? Makes
All
sense.
right, but anyway.
Makes sense in your lyrics,
All
Prince.
right, but anyway. Crazy this fucking talk about the Miz got us talking about 2008 hip hop. But
Right,
yeah, back to
right.
Miz.
Yeah, but yeah,
It's cool. It's cool. It's a good match for Gunther. It'll be entertaining to see what they do with the story for the next few weeks. I'm sure Miz will probably find a way to maybe like do a skit where he's making fun of the Imperium dudes. That shit should be pretty funny.
yeah. But I'm just looking for the match, and I'm also glad that Gunther's back on a pay per view main card. I was kind of like, man, why he's not at Crown Jewel? But they have him at Survivor Series, so I'm happy for that.
And also, he more than likely won't be on the Elimination Chamber card in February because apparently he can't travel outside of the States for the next 6 months because of a residency issue.
Is that why he wasn't at Crown Jewel?
It might have been the reason why he wasn't on the show, but
Yeah, because like you say that, was that just recently in effect, or was that been in effect like, I don't know, like weeks ago prior to Crown Jewel?
that story just came out like just a couple of days ago. I think last Friday it came out. That's when I heard about it.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean that might have been the reason why they left him off Crown Jewel, but also it just could have been the fact that, like I told you, they try to keep these cards like very light, not more than like 6 to 7 matches. So that's probably why maybe he got
Yeah.
left off the show.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna have
Makes sense.
Gunther and Miz for the IC title, and probably more than likely tomorrow night on SmackDown we're gonna get the other War Games match announced, and it's gonna involve all the women of SmackDown. So it'll probably be like Charlotte, Bianca, Asuka, and maybe one other person on that team. Then on the other team you'll have Io Sky, Bailey, Kyrie Zane, and probably one other person on that team.
Hmm. Okay.
So that'll round out the women's War Games match. That should be fun. I think actually last year the women's War Games match was better than the men's one was.
Really? Didn't we talk? Wait. Okay. I remember that conversation that we had. I like the brutality of the women's match. Yes, that's what. Yeah, and the spots. And I remember for the men's, it was that deep, compelling story telling in that match, which was good about it. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, but that women's match was fucking wild. Holy shit.
I know because the brutality of the match and the spots that he did in the match. Yeah, I wish I was in Chicago to attend that event. I don't care how cold it is. Sheesh.
Yeah, it's funny. Right now I'm on the 89 Survivor Series.
Yeah, in the same arena.
Yeah, Rosemont Horizon at the time. Yes. Some weird teams, though. They had like a Hogan's team against DiBiase's team
Mm,
with Zeus on DiBiase's team. That's actually one of a lot of people's favorite Survivor Series teams was the team that year with Hogan, Jake the Snake, and Demolition.
let's see. You're making me want to watch it now because you told me about it. So,
Yeah, everybody says what they're grateful for, like at the beginning of the show, like from Hogan to Warrior to Bobby Heenan.
okay.
And then also on that show they have the first sign that they're gonna use Warrior as the guy over Hogan because they had Warrior's match go on last and Hogan's match go on in the middle.
Oh, okay. Lately, I've been, 'cause, I keep my eyes on merchandises. I do. Not just within WWE, but they be selling WWE merchandises on like different clothing line apparel, like PacSun is one prime example. I've noticed that they've been certain hats and shirts on there, and I, stumbled across a Survivor Series hat on there.
A recent Survivor Series or an old one?
No, an old school logo Survivor Series hat.
Oh, like the logo from like the early '90s. That one.
Yeah, like when it first started, like late '80s, early '90s.
Oh, good shit. That's what's up. All right, but yeah, so back to Survivor Series. So yeah, they're probably gonna do a women's War Games from the SmackDown women, which should be dope. Looking forward to
Hmm.
that.
Oh yes.
But now that Bianca didn't win the belt again, I'm not sure where she goes from here.
Well, I mean, they could turn her heel. I don't know. We just got to wait and see what they're gonna do after because it hasn't. We have to wait and watch what happens on SmackDown. That will be our follow up episode of SmackDown after Crown Jewels. So there's no telling what's gonna happen. We're just gonna have to go from what we see tomorrow.
Yes, but what Bianca does have coming up soon is the release of her new reality show along with her husband Montez Ford. It's going to be called Love in WWE, and it drops February 2nd on Hulu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been hearing about this project for about a year now, so it's not really a surprise. I thought it was going to come out, before this year was over, but whatever, it's still coming out close enough.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm not big on reality shows, and not my cup of tea, but I'm sure this will bring more exposure to the both of them and bring brighter. I'm sorry, it'll put them more like in the public eye if that's like what they're really looking for and what they really
Oh yeah,
want.
absolutely.
And yeah, it'll be good exposure for them and maybe their kids too. Maybe their kids will also become stars out of this. Yeah, maybe their kids
I
can
don't know,
become like
man.
the old. Maybe their kids can make like some Olsen twin type money or something. Have like a
I don't know,
little
man.
catchphrase.
I mean, there have been certain reality shows on the wrestling part that kind of just didn't. It looked like, oh, very well, but back, behind the closed doors, it just didn't turn out well. Hogan Knows Best is a prime example of that. I love that show, loved it, but man, it didn't personally, it didn't end well for that family.
Oh, like the curse of reality shows. How like the reality shows they do like lead to problems or lead to breakups, lead to
Yeah,
a tragedy.
yeah, yeah. I love Hogan Knows Best. I literally enjoyed that show. Like, again, I'm not like a reality TV person either though, but like because it was wrestling related and I watched that show, it was kind of like, oh, like, it was, it was funny. And I think one of my favorite episodes, I remember he had one of the Nasty Boys over.
Oh, Brian Knobs. Yeah, I met him actually. I met Brian Knobs before.
Yeah, and
I have a picture with him
there was
actually.
one time where I'm
I have a
sorry.
picture with him actually. I'll send it to you.
Okay. There was an episode where he was over staying over their house for a little bit. And then I remember Hogan and his wife
I
at the
know which
time
episode you're talking about.
were
I know which
sleeping.
one you're
And
talking about.
he comes in, he goes creeping in the door. He's like, Hulkster, hey, he's like, you want to watch WrestleMania 7? He's like, go to bed, please. I was like, what the fuck? It was so funny, dude. I think I remember, was his daughter's name's Brooke, right?
Yeah,
Brooke.
absolutely.
So Brooke had her boyfriend over, and Hogan's over here, watching wrestling in his living room, and then his boyfriend comes in and he's all asking all these silly questions like, "Oh, is the blood real?" and all that, and blah blah. I don't, and you could tell Hogan just looks annoyed at this point. It was freaking funny though.
If I were Hogan, like if Brian Knobs was like trying to get me to watch WrestleMania 7 at that hour, I would have been like, bro, the only reason why you won the tag titles on that show is because I put in a good word to Vince for you.
Oh my god! Yeah, you're gonna start an argument late
And
at night. Okay.
and why would I want to go back and watch the WrestleMania that was the start of my decline in popularity? Yeah, because I even commented on this post about WrestleMania 7 online last week. Is that WrestleMania and like that year was like the start of Hogan becoming stale. Like if there was ever a point where like maybe fans were starting to turn on him or maybe start to like be less interested in him, it was like during that Sergeant Slaughter feud. Definitely,
Wow.
definitely.
Ooh.
Because let's be real, the best part of that WrestleMania was the Ultimate Warrior and Savage match.
Well, of course, of course. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, that Hogan and Slaughter feud just wasn't smacking. A Hogan and Warrior rematch. I don't know why the fuck they couldn't have just done that, but whatever. It is what it is.
That and the fact that they weren't able to have it at the LA Coliseum. So,
Yeah, but bro, if they were gonna market like a Hogan and Warrior rematch like enough time in advance, they could have filled that fucking stadium up. They definitely could have
oh
filled
yeah,
that
they
place
would have.
up.
Oh,
I, I get that wrestling was starting to fall off a little bit at the time, but with the right match, it was still hot enough where they could have filled that place up. In '93, no. In '93, no. But in '91, they were still hot enough where they could have filled that place up with the right match.
yes, yes, I agree on that.
At least we had Terminator 2 and Boys in the Hood that year.
Yeah, and New Jack City. Come on.
Yes, yes, New Jack City.
Yes, I mean, at least I still gotta go to the Coliseum. I had the privilege of walking by it when I was in LA back this past April. I walked by it because I was at the museum with my girlfriend, and it's literally like right next door to the LA Coliseum. But yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, sometimes it just doesn't work out that way.
crazy.
But what did work out was the birth of Carmella and Corey Graves' baby. They just gave
Yes,
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 congratulations to the both of them. She just gave birth to a baby boy.
yes. Congratulations to them. I saw the photos this morning. Yes, congratulations to them. It was a time waiting, and time finally came.
Yeah, I'm happy for both of them. I've always liked both of them, especially Carmella. She always came off as a really cool, very likable person, very pleasant, and
Mhm. Yes,
and most of the other girls like in WWE who've worked with her say like nothing but good things about her and positive things about her.
that's oh,
Yeah, I really felt bad, like hearing about that situation with them last year with the miscarriage and all that. So I'm happy they got their happy ending
oh,
in this situation and they have a new baby
that's
boy.
good.
Good for them.
That's good. We had a little bit of a like a shocking. It was pretty much of a shocker what I saw in AEW because and I'm talking about Samoa Joe, ladies and gentlemen. So Samoa Joe had his Ring of Honor title on the line, and after his match, he pretty much vacates the title, talking about how being passionate, going after other things. So he decides to vacate it. I was like, what? I was like, what the hell is this? But then he flips the script and he says he's going after bigger things, something he could fight for. And that, ladies and gentlemen, yes, he's going after the AEW World Championship.
Oh, yes, he is. So Samoa Joe, after defeating Keith Lee in a solid match,
And that was a good match, by the way.
yes, and after holding the Ring of Honor television title for over a year, he forfeit the
Mhm.
championship.
Yeah.
Circa Rob Van Dam with the ECW TV title back in late 90s, early 2000s. Had that long title reign, but then it ended by him forfeiting the belt.
Yeah. That brief second, I was like, what the hell is he doing? And then he
A lot
kind
of
of like, oh, okay.
a lot of people have mixed feelings about this because it makes like the Ring of Honor TV title feel meaningless because he just forfeited it after having it for that long. And also the fact that Keith Lee could have probably used that win, but they just had Keith Lee lose again. Yeah, like in that sense, the move's been getting a lot of criticism.
Okay, I get that part on some extent, but I'm in Samoa Joe's defense. It's like I had this belt for over a year. I want a new challenge, something bigger that I could go after. It's kind of like Napoleon. Napoleon, he's well known for conquering all these lands and countries and stuff. But it's like, man, I've done all of this stuff. What is there? What is there? There's more for me out there. There has to be. And speaking of Napoleon, ladies and gentlemen, there is a Napoleon movie coming out later this month, but that I want to watch, ladies and gentlemen. So that's like the whole point I'm trying to like get at. It's like there's more out there for me to do, type of deal.
Yet,
In his
yes, and
defense,
kind of for weeks, he's been kind of trying to bait MJF into being his partner for a match against the Guns at Full Gear for the Ring of Honor tag titles. Because since MJF needs a partner with Adam Cole being out, Samoa
yeah.
Joe made a proposition to him recently where if MJF will pick Samoa Joe as his partner, he'll give Samoa Joe a rematch for the championship, which MJF is not trying to do right now with all the fucking heat on him right now him, coming from Wardlow, coming from Jay White and his crew. So yeah, he's not trying to have
Good
no
lord.
problems with Samoa Joe. But I will say Samoa Joe's announcement like of him forfeiting that title, I will admit I was genuinely surprised. I was not expecting him to do that shit. No way.
Right, because I was like, what is this? For that brief second, and like a second later, oh, I'm going after the AEW World Title. I was like, oh, okay.
And he was taunting MJF all night. He was taunting MJF all night, where like MJF would like be standing somewhere, and then Samoa Joe would be like standing right behind him and like smiling and laughing at him.
Right.
And then at the end of the night, MJF's some recent partners, the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn, were attacked by these men in black hoodies, and one of them was even thrown through a glass window in the process. And it was basically making it out to be the fact that they're cool with MJF. That's the reason why they got attacked. So they played it out in a sense that like nobody who's partners with MJF is safe. So now that those dudes got attacked, it's feeling like he's gonna have like no other choice but to let Samoa Joe be his partner because he's running out of options.
See what you mean.
And Samoa Joe showed up behind him again after that happened too.
Wow.
It's crazy. 2 years ago, after Samoa Joe had to forfeit the NXT title, and then they released him right afterwards, I thought he was retired. I thought he was probably not going to wrestle
Dude,
again.
I felt that was just like ages ago. I didn't forget that, but I just a part of me kind of like puts that, my river, the behind me like it didn't exist anymore. I didn't forget about it, but damn, it felt like that was just ages ago.
Yeah, and it was only 2 years ago, and now look at the dude. He's one of the contenders for the AEW title.
Right.
I don't know if he's going to win it or not, but I like him being in the mix at least.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, damn, he forfeited that title. It was definitely a surprise. It kind of reminded me almost in a way of when Austin forfeited the IC title to The Rock.
Well, he had he was somewhat forced because of his neck injury, dude. So that was like,
No, 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 no. When he forfeited it the first time to Owen, that was different. That was because of the neck. But the second time when he forfeited it to The Rock, when he said he had bigger fish to fry, and he was talking about
oh
how
right,
I want
oh
to be
right,
the
right, right, right.
WWE,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
where he says I want to be the WWE champion, like. And on that promo, and then the fact that he dropped the IC title, that's when you knew he was gonna win the title at Mania.
Yeah. But it's just how the way he did it though was funny though, because he didn't just give it to him. He threw the he threw the belt into the lake.
In the river.
Well, which is yet to be found.
Yeah, I think that shit is long gone, son.
That is like a cold case mystery, ladies and gentlemen. That if somebody ever found that, I'm gonna be like, oh, "Are you effing kidding me?"
Bro, he had a new belt a month later.
No, I'm not talking. Forget that. I'm talking about if someone now found a belt in that river. That's what I'm talking about.
Shit would be on the 10 o'clock news.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's a cold case. If someone ever to found that, that's a lost treasure. That's like from 26 years ago. My God, if I ever hear a story about that, I'm like, well, whoa.
Lost treasure like the good girls in high school. The ones we took for granted.
Mm, no, it's usually the opposite. Usually it's the girls that we try to get after, and then they're like, no. And then when you get older, you're kind of like,
There's truth to that, but also at the same time, there's also certain girls in high school that, they weren't maybe the hottest girls in school per se, but they still were pretty and they still were cute. But because you were so obsessed with the really hot girls and the really popular girls, you didn't pay those other girls enough attention.
that is true. Absolutely, some
Yeah,
people.
and then when you get older and you see some of those other girls when they get older, you're like, damn, that girl always was pretty. Why the fuck did I not pay enough attention to her?
Right.
Yeah, bees like that. Yeah, there was a lot of girls in high school I definitely took for granted. I will admit that.
I see what you mean. It wasn't like that for. I don't think that was like that for me, but
Look, there was definitely a lot of girls like I liked and that I tried to get with that, didn't like me back for whatever reason.
yeah.
But there were definitely some other ones where like maybe they weren't as attractive to me on paper, but they still were pretty and they also still had a lot to offer. But whatever, my 17-year-old ass didn't know any better. In other AEW news, Ric Flair has officially signed a multi-year deal with AEW. So if you thought that was just going to be like a temporary thing with what he's been doing with Sting, it's going to be a lot longer than that.
He kind of joked at the fact how he kind of like, oh yeah, let's do some of MGF, and I'm like, oh no. I was like, oh no.
Whatever, he can be a part of the company. It's cool. It's a nice little paycheck for him.
Yeah.
It was also announced Tuesday that starting next year in 2024, NXT will be moving to the CW.
Yeah, I heard about that. Their deal with USA ended, it'll be with the CW. That's wonder why though, but I forget about the CW channels briefly. I kind of like, oh, that's still a channel. Wow.
I watch that show All American that comes on there, but when it comes on Netflix, not when it comes on
Yeah,
CW every week.
that's wow.
In hindsight, that merger with WB and UPN ended up like not being a good idea.
No, it was not. Oh my god, like I wish I could talk more about it because we're running out on time though. But yeah, that was just a bad idea. I think to me that was like beginning of the downfall. Like, why did you do that?
Yeah,
UPN and WB was doing good separately, but that's just one of the
well,
things
well,
about
well, they,
business where it was just like they're just doing just these mergers and stuff. It's like, why? I know it's for money, and but oh
well, to be
god,
fair, financially, neither one of them were doing great per se, but merging together didn't help. I'll admit that merging together did not make it any better.
I know, and that's that's the reason why there's mergers there because of financially. You know what I mean? Because that
I mean,
oh
they've had a
man,
few
it
hit shows here and
sucks.
there. They had that Gossip Girl show that was popular. They had, I think that Flash show. Yeah,
Supernatural.
Supernatural. Yeah, the Flash show I think was on there. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's a nice little place for It's a nice little place for NXT. Actually, NWA was supposed to get a time slot with them, but apparently CW pulled because NWA did like a cocaine angle very recently, and yeah, it didn't make them come off well.
Good God.
Yeah, so that basically cost them the deal, and now WWE got the deal from them. Fuck.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's crazy. One of the executives from Fox actually opened up recently about why they didn't choose to re-sign with WWE, and he basically said the reason why is because, like their relationship with WWE didn't result in like the audience they got from WWE, and like spending more ad money and spending more money on like the advertisers they had. Like it didn't make that money for them go up anymore. So in that sense, it wasn't worth it
Oh,
to re-sign with them.
I see what you mean.
And crazy, before we get out of here, today is a special anniversary, as it is the 26-year anniversary of the Montreal Screwjob. I know we all know this story. It's been told 1,000 times of when Bret Hart went into the Survivor Series thinking it was going to be a disqualification finish with his match with Shawn because he was hesitant about dropping the title to him in Canada on his way out. So behind his back, Vince McMahon, along with Shawn Michaels and a few other people, orchestrated the plan to have Bret Hart lose the match with him not actually losing. And that ultimately led to the referee ringing the bell before Bret Hart actually submitted. And then Shawn leaving with the belt, running the fuck out of there with Triple H. And then Bret Hart spitting in the face of Vince McMahon at ringside, destroying a bunch of monitors, writing the words WCW with his hands in the ring. And then when he got backstage, he knocked Vince McMahon the fuck out.
Yeah, very controversial night in the history of that business, and I even um, I even posted a promo package. You just knew something was going to happen that night, just from watching that promo package. But just the match was but how it started off wild and crazy, but it's mostly remembered for the finish and just a crazy night in Montreal, man. And I tell you what, man, those Canadians, man, they took that whole situation as if the Canadians lost a Stanley Cup. Like years later, they still won't get over it. But yeah, man, it was infamous, crazy night in Montreal.
Yeah, a night we'll never forget, a night that will go down in infamy, and a night in many ways that was the start and the catalyst for the Attitude Era. Because without that night, we probably would have no Mr. McMahon character, and without the Mr. McMahon character, we probably have no Stone Cold Steve Austin becoming the pop culture icon that he becomes.
Yes.
But damn, it just the one thing that is sad about that night is that it was like really the last night of like the Bret Hart that all of us grew up with, like the Bret Hart we watched from like the early '90s on, or like from the Hart Foundation era on, like from that. period all the way to that night. That night, unfortunately, was like the end of that Bret Hart that we knew and loved because his run in WCW obviously turned out the way it did. We don't need to get into that right now. And then obviously he had his health problems afterwards. And although it was great to see him, squash things with Shawn later on, and also, have that storyline with Vince, although the match turned out the way it did, it was still sad that we got cheated out of several good years of Bret we still could have gotten had things, maybe
Uh,
worked out differently.
yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, this the aftermath for it didn't work out well. And also, you got to remember, then losing his brother Owen a couple years later, just didn't things just went downhill for him. So
It's sad when like a situation like that just starts like a
snowballs.
crazy ass, yeah, like a crazy ass like domino effect and like crazy ass chain of events that are one tragedy after another. And unfortunately that happened with Brett and Sean too. Sean also went through his shit for a few years also
Yeah.
with the back injury and the drug
Yep.
problems.
Hmm.
Yeah, but crazy time in wrestling, a time we'll never forget. But we do have to get out of here. So for John Randall, this is Conscious Kurt with another edition of Clash of the Champions. Take care. God bless. Have a good one. And don't be a douchebag in real life or social media because that shit is for the birds. Have a good one, guys.